Deep inside the primordial swampland known as the Geometry-Underground creating community, there lay a small ant colony of stinky individuals that were very diverse but were nonetheless a tightly knit group. You see, even though that they were so separate in ideals, they were brought together by their love of art. They loved the effervescent warblings of hardcore hip-hop music, but something they loved even more than rap music by Killer Mike was the little celebrated, highly experimental subgenre of rap music known as fuck epileptics. All of these artists decided to band together to create a level unlike anything seen before. After consecutive months of furiously beating their dicks so their colourful jizz stains could slowly ferment on the level editor's surface, they completed their magnum opus. Featuring flashing lights and more flashing lights, on site was a really hard extreme demon entirely designed around the sweet sounds of Kanye West shitting his pants, and it was a piece of raw, unfiltered artistic expression that was truly one of its kind. And on January 24th, 2023, the war criminal known as the Cactus Man committed the unforgivable crime of uploading a piece of art to the internet. In no less than 15 seconds of this level's online existence, this wonky ass level built with 5 people with edgy ass anime avatars that no one had even fucking heard of single-handedly made the entire Geometry Dash community devolve into a state of primal anarchy. Well, that is of course if you consider Twitter.com as the whole of planet Earth. The same guys who only 5 seconds prior were nibbling the cheese from underneath Space UK's foreskin saw this big ball of light and decided that now was the time to become the angriest they have ever been. Ever since Jefferson Primary School's Year 6 maths test 3 days ago has so many players come together to get pissed the fuck out over whatever the fuck this was. Which is understandable because whatever baboons came up with the idea of the Twitter video player caused the level to look like it was recorded from a laundry room inside the same bunker that Hitler painted his salami sauce all over back in 1945. But at the same time, how am I say this? You know the dumbest, most stupid person you ever met? Yeah, dumber than that. Imagine a person lacking in intelligence to the point that they possess an IQ so low that they believe IQ is real. Now take that record-breaking moron and multiply that guy by 1,000,000 times, and that's the GD Twitter community. Now don't get me wrong, this level is made out of so many harsh colors that I bet it could fry your eyes like duck eggs. Its gameplay was probably made out of a bet that they could make a level in the shape of a crazy straw. This is what the underground Geometry Dash creating scene looks like. It's a pure uncut stream of brutal seizure-inducing insanity, and it certainly isn't for everyone, I'll tell you that much. You could tell me that this is the worst thing you've ever seen your entire 14 years of existence, and I wouldn't even think about arguing with you on that. But on the other hand, what the fuck? How do people enjoy this music? How about I enjoy tenderizing my dick between your ass cheeks? I do not want to hear music opinions from a guy whose channel looks like this. You are banned from having a brain. Go to jail. As the civil started to spread further and further in the far corners of the community, it was clear that the civil got on the nerves of a specific brand of people. I'm of course talking about the crowd that calls all rap trash and then proceeds to bump Demon Dice for 15 consecutive hours. Go back to your video game OSTs, you hating ass bitch. Oh wait a minute, sorry. My bad. Hold my liquor. What I meant to say was all rap except of course for Eminem, Tom McDonald, and 50% of Logic songs. Yeah, that's what I meant. How can I forget? Not that you can't think Jesus sounds like ass or anything, but don't talk to me about how unlistenable this is and why your ears are crying, and then turn around and try to lecture me on how your brostep mix is where it's at. I refuse to accept anyone in this household that can't appreciate no more parties in LA. Nigga, you have no swag! I am a god, and by the holy divinity bestowed upon me, on-site goes hard, and that is final. And if you dare to disagree with me, I will give up and cry like a bitch. My nuts itch. Now, I think it's time to step back and evaluate this situation. Let's put these little guys in the warming pan for a minute. This level is all types of fucked up. What mental insanity would someone have to be dealing with to possibly want to play whatever the fuck this is? Whose idea was this? Kanye. The thing you should know about the underground Geometry Dash scene is that the Venn diagram for creators and music nerds look a bit like this. If your level's theme is drawing dicks on the screen while Pusha T tells you about his dope money with lyrics that resembles a Call of Duty lobby from 2006, it'll get 10 views and Rob will send it into the shadow realm for being fake and gay. But the heroes over at the underground creating community could not give a single shit. They'll spend 2 years putting sky dicks in the air because it makes Pusha T sound cooler. Who cares about these dopes breaking their back to promote some shit that ain't even dope? It's more fun freestyling with the homies to make a music video for a Kanye West album track from 10 years ago where he talks about how much he likes big sissy tits. This is joy as an act of resistance. That's what this level is about. Being something to look at that matches the insanity of a narcissist that unironically thinks he's Jesus, and that you need to hurry up with his damn croissants because apparently being immortal doesn't stop you from being hungry. You know what this level isn't about? How everyone everywhere suddenly needs to panic about how the Geometry Dash player base is super duper mean, and how everyone that hates this level needs to be gassed for their hate crimes. There is no possible reason you could hate this except for racism. Why am I like this? Because I'm a pretentious fuck, that's why. Listen to this! I like it, so you have to like it too. Do you like harsh noise going in your ears for more volume than 10 dozen Boeings? Too bad, bitch. My number is bigger than yours, so I can't be wrong. You should do drugs! What you're looking at here is In the Radiator, the self-described masterpiece from the relatively popular post-intelligence creator Woolus. Just like me, he has a name that is completely fucking unpronounceable. But more importantly, just like me, he has been frustrated by the homogenization of Geometry Dash levels for a long time now. And also just like me, he channeled this frustration into a level. Mine was an anti-modern 9-star that paralleled the tropes of the genre at the time in a very spiteful way. His was a 5-minute long droning auto level that consists of nothing but terrible smudges and it never ends. Neither of these levels took the wrong approach. These enigmas are both painfully average, but if you look at the comment section side by side, you'll soon realize that something really fucked up must have happened behind these copy-pasted ramps, because these motherfuckers are screaming like they've had their legs broken. When it comes to messages, these levels are pretty much carbon copies. But one of these levels was made by a pretentious shithead who, in between of telling people to stop using the color purple and overrating pop albums, decided to create a big long paste spin spoon-feeding what the level means instead of, you know, just putting it here. I guess there wasn't enough room. Which once again, there are worse crimes, which for you people in the audience that have spent more than 15 minutes outside of your mum's humongous pouch could have guessed, their combined brainpower ended up resulting in the conclusion that all of this shit detailed in a manifesto was irrelevant. And the real hidden meaning behind this level is that the words of Woolus was gospel, and anyone that dared to deter from it was blasphemous to the church of being a pretentious cunt, and therefore needed to be cast out from the community for daring to point out that this level might not be very interesting. These guys could not handle someone mentioning the fact that unless the color grey just gets your dick hard as a rock, and the Radiator as a level by itself didn't have any substance. Doesn't matter who you were, or how casual of a fan you were of the game who somehow didn't even have 10,000 hours to spare to research Geometry Dash Horseshoe Theory, even if you were a 9-year-old Venezuelan schoolboy who just watched a bloodbath verification video for the first time 2 days ago and also can't even speak English, if you immediately didn't bend to the whim of this obscure wall of text, you are condemned a bad person who needs to spend the rest of your days locked in the slammer. Tribalism is the worst thing since sliced dick, and it never fucking leaves. It's when you take a random thing and then make two teams based on whether or not they like that thing. Now everyone on God's green flat earth now has to pick one of those two teams, or the cavemen will beat you to death with a big rock. Pick the wrong side, and the world will deem you a menace to cave society, and you'll once again be beaten to death with a big rock. Please ignore the fact that the same guy who made this thing we're all arguing about also made one of the best levels of all time. This thing right here is the most important issue our minds can think of. What? There's people starving in third world countries? We and the rest of the politically inclined online people couldn't give two shits about that. The real issue over here is, do you or do you not stand lunar? It's a pretty annoying and quite frankly reductive way of thinking that is terrible in pretty much every possible form. It only exists to generate anger by the bucket load, like if a bucket was the size of the Pacific Ocean. It's also the genius philosophy that the Geometry Dash community thrives on. Its surface majority exists through an attention economy due to the reward systems that social media algorithmically provides to extrinsically pacify the general public, like a jar of nice warm piss to keep your skin from flaking off. The underground communities in theory should be completely immune to this, but yet, here it is. No matter how few people were excited for the level in the first place, the moment that any of this leaks out from the underground sewers it came from and inside the internet ecosystem, it's no longer an experiment that someone thought was cool, but instead an alien anomaly for people to lose their minds over for the next 55 minutes while Andy Warhol slowly rocks back and forth in his rotting grave carcass. Back when Yeezus was originally released from Kanye's butthole back in 2013, the vast majority of critics and snails alike thought that it fucking rips. The music videos, on the other hand, were infamously hot ass. Just like the album it was made for, they were very highly experimental and clearly directed by Kanye himself, probably while huffing his own farts. However, unlike Yeezus, which had black skinheads, the music video had black skinheads jiggling around like they were World War I victims. And how could I forget the definitely not green screen backgrounds from Bound 2 that made the video for one of Kanye's best songs of all time look like Man, what a good artist. You know what? I think it's about time I gave Kim Kardashian an 8th chance. I'm gonna study the Bound to music video for the next 35 days because, it's such a great song. So yeah, this level is a 3 out of 10. I liked it a lot. It made me go blind and now I see a skin cancer. It's the best level in the world. Give me 10 of those.